Hi, I'm Julian, and this is the WLB podcast. On this episode, we are having Fatima Hussain, who is the co founder of the venture My Captain. She got mentioned in Forbes 30 Under 30, and I'm super excited to hear more from her about this entire journey of starting such an amazing online platform which helps you learn of all the offbeat careers you can think of, right from filmmaking to stand up comedy to writing. There is so much that this one company has helped people, youngsters in our country do, and I would love to just hear about it all from her. So, thank you, Fatima, for joining us. Please do give our listeners an introduction formally from you.
Hi, thank you so much for giving me this platform. I am Fatima. I am a designer by education, so I'm also an entrepreneur. So I usually like to call myself a designpreneur because, yeah, as a designer and entrepreneur, my role is to help my company become more design centric and user centric.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. I think currently a lot of companies are focusing on the proper UX and making sure we don't irritate our users a lot. That's a design entrepreneur. I like that.
Thank you.
What has your journey been as a designer? Could you tell us about some of your projects and how has it been?
I started My Captain, which was initially called The Climber, which is still the parent company of My Captain. We started that back in 2014 when I was still in college. So most of my work till now has been centered around My Captain and The Climber. We initially had started with a magazine, and we started off with a magazine. We published a few issues, and then we kind of it didn't work out for us, so then we pivoted to what we have right now, the My Captain product, which is online mentoring for students to help them understand what career path they want to choose. So we were kind of trying to become this end-to-end journey for anybody who's trying to figure out what they want to pursue, and to help them build a career in a field that they are passionate about.
Yeah, so I think I saw there were courses even on stand-up comedy, and there was one course on poetry. I think that is so nice because I don't think we ever even knew that could be a career, a full-time profession when we were in school.
Yes, so that is what we want to, promote, and we want to tell everybody that, do what you really like doing, because that is how you can get better at it, and you can you yourself will feel good about what you're doing, and you'll be able to do so much better at something that you enjoy than to work on something that you don't enjoy.
Exactly. So, I think, is it for kids or is it for people in college?
It's for people in college, but we also have certain certain courses are for kids, certain courses are for college students, but in general, whatever level you're at, we want you to figure out, so come on board, figure out whether you like this or not, because the only way of understanding whether you like a particular field is to try to do it, right? I mean, you can't just read about a lot of things and then say, okay, I like this or I don't like this. Experience matters a lot when you're working on something. So that's the main goal. So what we do at My Captain is we connect students with, or our mentees with, captains who are young achievers in their particular field. So it helps the student understand what their mentor's journey has been, what the captain's journey has been, and it's very easy for them to relate, because listening to a 45-year-old talk about their career journey, it doesn't really help me, because I am living in a world with I'm starting my studies with where the computer is there, like the internet's there with me all the time. You started at a point where the information wasn't available to you, like in your hand, right? So it matters a lot.
True. So I think it's relatable, and I think you're also spreading awareness about things like you don't actually have to go in the normal route, like engineering, doctor, or whatever is a normal set of cliche professions that you have out there.
True. So what we also realize that in in countries like India, where you have your decisions are not just your own, they're based on so many other factors, and so many other people play a role in you making your decision. So it's very important to help others also understand why you want to take this decision. So when we, through our workshops, we're also able to help parents understand why this would be a viable career option, or why so it relieves their stress, it helps them understand what the journey can be. So it's not just forcing somebody to accept what you want to do, it's also explaining that see, this makes sense, and you see there are so many people who are doing this, and they're on the same path, the same journey that I want to go on. So it helps people understand better, I think. And then when you have that kind of understanding, you don't you can focus more on what you're trying to achieve than to spend your energy on convincing so many people or just getting frustrated about those things.
True. I think this is the best implementation of after watching the movie Three Idiots. Like, we should have My Captain. Why not?
Yeah. So pre-COVID, we also had a lot of events that we conducted in various cities. So again, these events would, bring people together, and so they would see people on stage talking about their journeys. And then we had things, so we had like a setup called Backstage and a Captain's Corner, where you could go and interact with this person live in person. So it made a lot of difference, and we got so many amazing reviews, because we also saw people taking up things that they want to do and getting inspired from other people, and that is what it's all about.
True. I think meeting that person in real life will actually inspire a child a lot more and clear out all of those things. So when kids come up asking me, should I take up cybersecurity? Since I'm not from that field, I'll be like, I'll connect you with somebody who has done cybersecurity, and then that helps them understand.
Yeah,
that's and perfect. Yeah.
So this community learning thing, where you see other people also trying to learn the same thing that you are, it really helps. So and this so our platform, our workshops are very they don't have a very strict format, so it's easy for people to get to know each other, get to know the captain, and then it's a very fun way of learning.
That's amazing. It's like a boot camp kind of, like everybody's it's an open dialogue.
Beautiful. It's an open dialogue. And so we've also designed the courses like that. For example, when you download the app and you select maybe a course, so say you want to become an entrepreneur, so the whole interface is like a journey where you can see what all you should do in order to start thinking like an entrepreneur. And so it's divided into steps, and it's also it like guides you, but it doesn't dictate.
Nice, nice. So I think we should not just, I was thinking if we had this in school, we can get rid of all of those subjects like, history and things that we don't really enjoy. You should maybe, expand into right from high school, you should start. Maybe even before. But at least the folks, I think that explaining part is very nice. Like, you need to convince your parents about your, I mean, unfortunately, that is the case in India where we have to convince our parents.
Yeah, and if people are, we kind of consider it as an unfortunate thing, but if you look at it from their perspective, they're also trying to navigate through life, and they're also trying to do the best that they can. At least for most people, it is like, your parents are not there to just tell you that no, this is not fine. They are also thinking in a particular way, and their thinking is defined by their experiences, right? So it's important to have a healthy dialogue, to be able to understand both point of views, and I think this is a way of doing that. But apart from that, it is also a way of you understanding what you want to do.
Got it. So is this name My Captain inspired from Captain My Captain poem?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's yeah, and plus, so even in office, and so we call everybody who we call each other captains, because you're always learning from each other. So everybody is a mentor, or everybody is a guide to you in some way. So yeah.
I think it's one of those frequently, every time you have a poem recitation in college, that's one of the first poems you would hear. So I think I related to that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful poem actually.
Yes. But I think what you mentioned is true. Currently, everybody has some or the other unique set of skills that they can teach another person. So there are courses on travel blogging, and there are courses like, I think, but we see them only as once in a blue moon. You see them as an ad on Instagram. But you seem to have covered like 1 lakh plus students. And how is that journey of scaling? Like, do you remember your first sign up? Your first student who signed up? And
yes, I actually remember us. So when we started My Captain, we actually, as I told you, we started like a magazine, and then we pivoted. So when we pivoted, we wanted to test out the idea first, because with the magazine, what had happened was we jumped right in. So okay, this is the problem, this is the solution, and whatever the first solution that comes to mind, so let's just do it. But so when we had to do it again, like we had to reevaluate what we had done, we thought, no, this time we should ask people what they want, instead of just saying this is the correct solution according to us. So we started with WhatsApp groups. So we had like mini workshop sessions on WhatsApp, where we would so that was like the idea testing phase for us. Once we knew that okay, this thing works and people are willing to pay money for that is when we decided, okay, now the idea is there, we know that people want it, now let's start building it. And then we started gradually building the product, and we started working from there. So the first few workshops that happened on WhatsApp, they were amazing, and we got like an amazing response for those. And the mentors enjoyed those sessions, and the mentees also, they were very, very enthusiastic about learning through this. So that is how we started actually. And then we were incubated at IIM Bangalore, and I remember the small office space that we had over there, and like the four of us sitting and just trying to figure out everything from there. And then how we grew from that space to then we first rented our first office in Bangalore, and then we moved to another office, like a bigger office. So
Wow.
it's been a long journey, but it's been an amazing journey.
Beautiful. I mean, I love the progress that you mentioned, and you started all of this way back when you yourself were a student, like in college, and then continued on that. Wow.
Yes, because I'm sorry.
No, I think we were all wasting time in college, like people like me.
No, I don't think. I mean, no time's wasted in college. You're either having fun and making memories. But yeah, so this was a good way to at least get to know a lot of people. And when we were working on the magazine itself, I remember our little team of illustrators and designers. So we had illustrators all over India, and we would coordinate over there. And then I had 2 other people working with me on the layouts and the design of the magazine. And I remember working through the night, because every day we had assignments to finish and classes to attend in the morning. So we would stay up late, and we had so much fun. I mean, I really genuinely enjoyed that work at that point. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. I mean, even if you were burning the midnight oil, I think it was all done with a lot of excitement and passion.
Yes, it was. And plus the group was also like the group that was working on it, everybody was so passionate about doing this, and everybody believed in the vision, because we all knew that this problem exists. Everybody had faced this at some point in their life, and everybody was like immediately on board, and they wanted this solution to work. They wanted they wanted to help people out with this. It was just been amazing.
Nice. True. So you did a course in design, right? So like, I mean, I just want to understand, when I think about design, the only thing I know is being a software developer, there are product managers who make the wireframe in design. But I do understand that it'll be a lot more complex than just that. So could you just explain to in layman terms what all do you cover in a course like that?
So the course that I did was in communication design. Now design has several, it has a lot of different streams in it. So you have industrial design, you have communication design, and then it just splits into many more streams. Now within communication design, you have something called brand design, and then now you have product design within communication design, because that's digital product design. So the boundaries are kind of merging together when products are becoming digital.
Correct.
So there are so many different streams within communication. Communication would be essentially getting just like, it also has branding, marketing, etc. So it's those are the different streams. So my specialization was in brand design and communication with respect to marketing, etc. And then I gradually moved to product design, because I had to we were building the app, right? So then the UI UX part of it, then that fits over there. So for My Captain and The Climber, I was responsible for working with the marketing team to help establish the brand, as well as the product team to help push out the product, design the product.
Nice. So
did I answer your question? I mean,
yes. So what I want to understand was, did that study of brand design and designing a product in digital format, did that help you in My Captain? Was it all parallel, or
I'm sorry.
If you were to look back and take another course, because we are talking about different courses that you can take up, like, would you choose another course other than design? That's what I wanted to know.
No, for me personally, no, not at all. I absolutely love the direction that I chose, and I absolutely love the path that I am in, because with understanding design, I could easily understand business design. And there's also one upcoming field called service design. So what service design is it's essentially looking at an entire service, and then figuring out where the problems arise in that. So you ideally, have a look at the different touch points, and then it is a view of how the service works from the organization or the business's perspective, as well as how it's working from the user's perspective, and then aligning them properly so that both the parties have the best experience. So I think I kind of moved into that field, and that was because when you understand the crux of design, it is problem solving, right? So as a business also, when I was like working on the product, or we were figuring out how the business will work, how it will make money, etc., it aligned properly, because I could visualize it in terms of the user also, whether they will like what we are proposing. And as a business also, I understood the constraints and what all we needed to do to get the product working, or get good results with the product.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, being able to do that end to end, if there's a course that exists like that to help you do that, that's brilliant. Because again, I'm seeing from what the only experience that I have is being developers. What we end is like, okay, we have an app, and I have to make sure that this is written in the most optimized code and optimized architecture. But we hardly figure out, okay, what could be the pain points for a user, or what could be the pain points for this. Oh, that's beautiful. Nice.
There are a lot of courses on service design, and even on business design, a lot of courses have come up. So it's an evolving field, and there are many opportunities right now for people who are interested in this, and who have this I guess like the problem solving mindset everybody has to have in whatever field that they choose. Like for example, for you as a developer, you have a problem solving mindset, but for if you have this and you're very empathetic and you can understand it from a user's perspective, or you can talk to users and understand what they want, and then implement it in your process, then if you're that kind of a person who likes to work with people, likes to understand how people think, or why people take certain actions, then this is a very good career path. Yes.
True. So this has been I also noticed how one of the main reasons I think that your name came up was when you were chosen for Forbes 30 under 30 special mention. So how was that experience? Like being listed in Forbes is like eternal glory for the rest of your life. So what was that like? Could you tell us?
It was an amazing experience. Actually, at least I wasn't expecting it. By that I mean I wasn't thinking in that direction really, but it's just like I don't have any other way to express it. It's just a very nice feeling, and it's just to feel validated for the work that you've been doing. It just gives you a boost. But I think the work speaks more, and we just have to keep doing what we're doing. And the main thing is to help people and help as many students as possible to figure things out for themselves.
Yeah, I think your testimonials itself speak volumes. If there are so many people who have actually figured a route for their own careers, that it speaks volumes. So have you ever spent time researching on psychology that students have, or if you were to just list down things that you had to do for when you were building that app? Like, I think you went from a website to a mobile app.
Yeah,
Was
it
that the
was
pivot?
initially it was a print magazine at first, and then we moved
Yeah.
to a web app, and then we moved that to the mobile app. So we did a web first approach, and then we released the mobile apps for it.
Okay, so what was your research on? Like, did you have to research on the psychology or the market trends, or what are the better paying jobs or more happiness index? Like, what all did you have to figure
We
out?
actually collaborated with a lot of people to figure. So we had a few psychologists on board to understand how to design these career paths, and how to basically design the learning solutions for our mentees. Also, a lot of it was because of our captains and their inputs, because everybody knows their field the best. So it all molds according to what inputs we get from the mentees, from the captains, from the people, teachers, or then psychologists as well. So a lot of different people have joined hands to finally figure out what the best way would be, and we're still figuring it out. So we're still working on it, because obviously we're not done with it, and we can't say that this is the ultimate thing. It will always continue to evolve, and we'll learn. And the best source of learning is, I think, from the mentees themselves, because they are able to tell us what else they require from the product. And also industry experts, they are also able to help us with this is how things are going in this industry, so maybe look into incorporating this in the courses, etc.
So how did you go about recruiting the captains? Like the first batch of captains, did they sign up first, or did you reach out to people? What was the process?
We reached out to people people we knew were good for giving talking to mentees and doing the courses, and then through referrals the whole network grew. So later on, when we so the first set of people were people we were confident about, and then we started getting in applications because they would refer the platform to somebody else. So then we would start screening, and then a major factor would be how well are you able to interact with the mentees, how well are you able to talk to them, converse with them, help them understand. And so that plays an important role too, because it's just not about knowing a lot about a subject. It's also how you can help somebody else grasp it.
And every child has a different grasping ability, so I think
and
so.
More
Is it
than
one-on-one?
It's not one-on-one, it's a group learning session. So it's a group mentoring session actually, because so there are a bunch of students and one mentor, and then they discuss different topics, etc. So it's a conversation. It's not teaching in a way that one person is speaking and everybody else is listening. It's everybody talking about what they think about the subject, etc.
So I think has anybody in the team gone abroad to study how foreign universities like I think I've just seen videos of how Harvard MBA happens, and there you have this open dialogue system, and if you have a case study and everybody's talking about what they know and what they feel is right or wrong about a particular case, and like I just want to know, has anybody in the team gone abroad and studied something like that and then come to implement this?
So not gone to study, but again we've collaborated with a lot of people from outside India to help. So that helps. Plus my co-founder Zishan, he had gone to Jordan, I believe. So where he had done this session where he was one of the mentors for a business plan competition, I believe. So
Okay.
yeah, so a lot of inputs from everywhere, and plus a few of our mentors were based out of India, so that also that's what the whole system developed because of so many different inputs.
Nice. So how do you measure the metric? Like, is the success of a particular workshop? Like, was there any metrics that you had to see? Like, did the kids implement something, or supposing if it's stand-up comedy, did they have a stand-up at the end of it, or like, what is the means of measuring the success?
So success of the workshop or the student success
Like, of any course?
of
So
so
of any course, like.
So when we see the mentees going out, and so a lot of our mentees have published books. They're from the creative writing workshop. So when you see them achieving all these things, the value reflects, and you automatically understand that people are they are making use of this. Plus we also and if you ask, like, from a business point of view, we calculate the NPS score for us. So that's the net promoter score. And so we've got a very high net promoter score as well, and so we know that it's working, and people are satisfied with the workshops. Also, another thing that I would like to point out here would be that sometimes when people come on board and they realize that, okay, so this is not for me, I don't like doing this, that is also success for us, because you're thinking that, okay, I like to do this and I will make a career out of it. But when you come and experience it at that point after the workshop, when you say, no, I don't like it, actually, that is also, it matters a lot, because you're not taking the wrong decision now. That's why we have the so that's why we have the pack where you can get all the courses for a particular amount, so that way you can explore as much as you want.
So are these all courses? Okay, got it. So is it a video recorded thing? Like, do people have access to the person on Q&A, on the captain on Q&A, or is it a live?
They're live
session.
They're live discussions. Live discussions.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice. I think online education has started. But you said you started this in 2014. I think in 2014 it was not that all we had access to was edX and Coursera maybe, but I think you were a very early starters right from the beginning.
Yeah,
all of this has been online.
So I think the product launched in 2015. Before that we were just testing it out and doing our research bit, etc. But 2015 was when it launched. We were in the market pretty early, and so our main selling point has always been the personal connect that you get with the mentors, because if you look at edX or Coursera, they didn't have the personal mentorship thing. It was more of a learning thing. This is more of a guidance and helping you figure things out, rather than just learning about a subject.
True, and that helps a lot. Like, I always felt a certain subject becomes my favorite because of the relationship I have with the teacher. If I hate the teacher, there is no way in hell I'm gonna love that subject.
No, that matters a lot.
True. That's amazing. So I think My Captain has done what schools are trying to do right now ever since the pandemic struck. Be there for kids online.
But
It has
no,
been
so again, schools, we're not like a teaching place where you come to learn only, right? So it's a lot different than schools. It's not just online learning, it's much more than that. It's connecting with like-minded people online. It's figuring out where you want to go or how you can reach there. It's not just about acquiring one particular skill set related to that career path. It's about understanding what are the hard skills required, what are the soft skills required, who can I connect with. And also you make so many connections once you're in the workshop, right? So the connections help you in a long way. You can maybe say, if you're taking up the entrepreneurship workshop, you have an idea and there's somebody else who has a similar idea. You meet over there on this platform, you can maybe become co-founders of something and you can start together. You get that support, and so you get all these things in one place with My Captain.
Beautiful. Wow. I think that's a perfect way to sum it up, because I think I did understand a network after a course. I think there's nothing more valuable than that. Oh, that's really nice. So have you had any startups like coming out of My Captain?
Yes, there are many startups actually. A lot of people, are still in contact with the mentors as well to for guidance for their startups, etc. Many startups have come out of this thing.
Wow, that is amazing. And did you ever find any bias in terms of women did not start up a lot more? Like as a just because this is women-led business, I just want to know your thoughts on. Do you think women in your classes or otherwise are reluctant to start something of their own, or is there any sort of hesitancy?
We had realized that the the female participation was less in our courses at one point. So what we did was we had this one program called Lead Her, which had a lot of which had this whole community building aspect for women who wanted to start up or who wanted to get into different fields. So we had divided that whole so it was like an online event which was there for, say, I think 3 months, where we divided the participants into different groups that they wanted to make a mark in. So that was a huge success, and we saw a lot of people taking part in that. I think more than 100 girls were part of the whole thing. And again, it was just focused on helping women start whatever journey that they want to take. Go on.
Nice. So has your family been supportive of this entire thing from college, or did they have any ideas like, okay, why are you not focusing on your studies, and why is there an entire company starting in college? Was there any support?
Yes. So for me personally, a lot of support from my family. They were and actually for my co-founders as well, because our parents also knew that this was a problem, right? And for me, I wanted to get into design, but when I was looking for career options, so when I was in my class 12 and I wanted to see what entrance exams do I have to give to get into this particular field. One, I didn't even know that there were design colleges which offered like there were courses which were particularly aimed at design and learning design. I thought that I had to get into an art college and do something with commercial art, etc. My mother was the one who actually did a lot of research with me, and she knew that the process is very irritating. It's not easy to find out things. And then once you even find out, then who do you go and ask? You anyway, even I mean, I think even you will be familiar with this. Once you pick something, then you go looking for people who have done this particular course to ask them how it is. So we wanted to solve this. We wanted a place where you can, come and see and talk to people. This is this is what I'm planning to do. Is this the correct way of doing it, or what should I do? Is there any other way of doing it, etc. So they were always, a part of the whole learning journey for us. So they were always very supportive.
Amazing. So I think that they were convinced very early on that there is a need for such an organization.
Yeah. And plus,
Nice.
nobody likes to see their children unhappy, right? For me, so luckily for me, I got into a design college and I was doing what I wanted to do. But for my other co-founders, everybody had to choose engineering because nobody knew what they wanted to do. So the answer from everybody's parents was, first do engineering, and then you can figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Story of every child in India. Oh my God. I don't understand. Like, I think when engineers end up doing a variety of things, like right from being Shah Rukh Khan to like being entrepreneurs. That's true.
So that's when you're wasting so much of your time doing, like, learning about something that you don't like. You can easily use that time to learn things that you are actually passionate about, you want to like take up as your career. Use that time to work on it, and then when you enter the industry, you're trained to do it. It's not like you're, maybe if I'm interested in creative writing, I spent 4 years in an engineering college, and then after that I join a company, and there they are teaching me things about creative writing and copywriting, and then I start from scratch over there. It doesn't really make sense, right, to waste so many years.
Absolutely. I think there have been so many cases where people just drop out of engineering after like 3 years, and then they go for journalism or architecture or something totally the opposite direction, kind of. True. I think that is it's a struggle to have that mindset conversion, like right from the beginning. Like parents also have to agree, okay, there are other courses like digital marketing, copywriting, and these are things that are getting a boom nowadays because people are doing freelancing. So what was your freelancing journey as, like, besides My Captain? Could you shed some light on your experience as a freelancer?
Yeah, so initially when I was in college, I had started my freelancing. So I was taking up projects from here and there and just working on those. And then so again, important thing about my journey so far is last year I moved to Dubai. So since last year, again, I'm not an active part of my company anymore because I was moving. So I thought, I might as well challenge myself a little more and look for new avenues and see where else I can go. So there was already a very big life change coming for me because I got married and then I moved to Dubai. So things were changing. So I thought that this is the best time to, take the leap.
That's myself more.
So then I started taking up projects on my own, and that's been going very well. And plus, my startup experience has given me so much understanding of how businesses work that now when I talk to my clients, I can understand where they're coming from, what some of their hesitations might be, and I can understand how I can solve them because I've done something from scratch for my own company, right? And that's like I didn't do it for a design firm. I did it for a product which was something other than just design services. So it's given. Hello.
I'm there. Continue.
Yeah.
It's a power failure, but continue.
Okay. So yeah. So that's been my experience so far.
So, like, if you were to give any tips on how a freelancer or a designer, if there's anybody in our listeners who's trying to, start their own journey on either doing freelancing or doing taking up a project where they become a full-time entrepreneur. So, I mean, if you were to give any tips to them, what would be your 2 cents?
I think stop spending a lot of time on the strategizing phase, or on thinking about what you're going to do. Just start doing it, and then you'll figure things out as you go, because a lot of times we spend a lot of time on just thinking about how we'll do something, and we never get to the starting point, or we're very anxious about getting to the starting point. I think the main thing is to start. I mean, that's the most important thing, and then things fall into place. But a lot of people struggle with that. Even I struggle with that in a lot of different ways. But that's one major learning that I have had. So start, do it, start from whatever you can do as the bare minimum, and then keep building on it. But don't keep thinking that, okay, no, this will be the best, like once this gets done, or this is the best version of this, I'll put it out in the world. That it doesn't work that way, because you also are learning from people that you're working with, or as I said, in our case, we learned from the mentees. So once people start using a product maybe, or your service, then you can ask them what is going right, what is going wrong, and they can help you figure things out and grow yourself.
True. That's amazing. I think your learning keeps happening iteratively. Like the faster you come out with a MVP, the sooner you'll be closer to your best shot out there.
Yes.
True. So anything, like I ask this to all of my guests, like if you were to list down like your top 3 challenges throughout being an entrepreneur for the past 5+ years, what would you list?
Top 3 challenges. One would be this hesitation of putting out the best thing. So that's like my top thing. 2 would be not getting. So there will be days when you will not feel like doing it, or you'll feel like you'll feel tired, or you'll not feel like giving in your 100% over there, but you need to keep going on. So that's like a key learning, that you need to keep moving. And third would be take rest also. Like I know I'm saying that keep moving on one hand, and then I'm saying take rest, but taking rest is also moving in the correct direction, because you need to realign with yourself. You need to pause. You need to see where you're going, or see how far you've come to be able to see where you want to go. So that's also very important. And also, I mean, if you're working really hard, then you should be your own cheerleader, and you should congratulate yourself once in a while. Talk to yourself, say that, oh, you're doing like this amazing thing. Because I for one, I am super hard on myself a lot of time. So I know for a fact that a lot of people are just talk to yourself as you would talk to somebody else, because it'll, the way that you would motivate a friend, just try to do that internally too, because we forget to do that a lot of times. We've got so many things going on that we never see that, okay, you've done something and you should be proud of it.
True. Those are words of pearls of wisdom falling from right now, gems kind of. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
if you I just want to know one thing before we ended. Was there anybody else who's done this in your family? Anybody that you could seek guidance from all through? I know you had a team of there were 4 people, but anybody from your cousin side or somebody who's been in the business line?
Yeah, so my father's a businessman, and I've learned a lot from him also. So just just seeing him work has in a lot of ways imparted a lot of knowledge. It's not even, I don't have to go ask him for things. I just, the way that I've seen him work has been a learning source for me. So yeah, and definitely it helps a lot when you have support actually. So that's one thing that matters a lot when you're starting up or starting on your own. The support, because there are so many variables, right? And you are already taking on this big task, and it takes up a lot of energy to manage the whole thing because you're doing everything on your own. So that emotional support is a must. It matters a lot. Yeah, rest of the things you can do because you're super, you're talented, you can do everything. But so that's why, the last point that I said, if you're not getting that external support, you have to that internal support from yourself has to come. That's why it's important. Yeah.
Wow, nice. So all through this journey, I think My Captain should definitely, I think it's pan-India right now, and I think it should definitely go global.
Yeah, we're planning on going global this year, so best of luck for us.
That's awesome, and I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
I've not seen anything like this before, and I'm really glad your name came up in Forbes. So I mean, that's how I found out all about My Captain, and it's amazing. Wishing you all the best, and thanks a lot for spending time.
Thank you so much.
One last question.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like quitting anytime during this entire journey?
Not quitting, but yeah, you do feel slow. But no, I think when you're in love with what you're doing, you don't feel like quitting. You do feel like it's a lot at sometimes, but when you it just, there's something that keeps pushing you forward.
Nice. So I mean, it's your brainchild, and you have all your you put in so much work. I think you should never even think about quitting this. This is doing a great job in terms of guiding the youth in the right direction, helping them make the right choices without spending 3 to 4 years in courses that they don't want to. So
yeah, no, I think My Captain's where the whole team's super passionate about what they're doing, and everybody sees, when everybody has that vision and everybody is aligned to the vision, even if you're feeling slow one day, there will be the other person who will say, no, this is, we're doing the right thing, we have to keep moving.
That's amazing. I think so, and doing it in a team also actually keeps that energy going.
Yes. And my co-founders are lovely. It's just been a pleasure working with them, and it's just been a very fun group, and so much leg pulling, so much fun, so many internal jokes. That feeling of being a close knit group, part of something, and that whole the feeling you feel when everybody is looking in one direction and everybody is striving to get to that one point, that one goal, that team effort, the teamwork, it's just something else.
Thank you for sharing that, and wishing you once again all the best in your journey as well as the my captain's journey as well.
Thank you. I love what you are doing with the podcast as well. I think this is an amazing initiative, and I hope this inspires a lot of people, and I hope you're successful in doing this, and I'm sure it will, because I saw the other people that you interviewed on your podcast, and everybody's got such amazing stories and amazing journeys. It's lovely.
Yeah, and I think knowing stories. Thank you. I just love knowing stories, and everybody's story is so different. I'm sure it'll be an inspiration to somebody or the other. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you then. See ya.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this episode, do share it with your friends. And don't forget to hit follow on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more episodes and stay safe.